Hey you guys, it's Tia and I am back. This is my second recap, my second full week of student teaching, and I am here to tell you all about it. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified when I upload videos or when I share different types of content and that you may like or enjoy. So let's go ahead and get into week number 2. So you may ask, what happened in kindergarten this week? So my second week of student teaching, and I'll say this, I am definitely becoming more comfortable with interacting with the students, like walking around, monitoring them, talking with them, redirecting them. I'm definitely finding like where I fit while I'm in the classroom with them and taking a little bit more of an initiative to build I guess you can say like a bond, a relationship with them, and just like, letting them know like my purpose for being there. So this week I said like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I just kind of monitored the students as they were doing their ELA block, their math block, as they were doing like calendar time on the carpet. Also, just like monitoring them as they were doing like their independent work as well, making sure that they were on task and different things like that. So I would say like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was really kind of like laid back days. I think on Wednesday, that was my first day where I actually I won't say I taught a lesson, but I read their story, one of their stories for the week. So this week we were talking about the standards covered like compared text, rhyming words, sequencing, different things like that. So I think by Wednesday they had already read 2 stories around like weather or different things like that. So the story that I read to them was their third story for the week. And pretty much what I did was I kind of pulled in some of those standards, like the standards like comparing the text, just to kind of like show them like comparison, like how you can do like a Venn diagram, like talking about the similarities of the stories and then the differences of the stories. So Wednesday was the first day that I really kind of like did something other than observe and monitor the students. And I want to say it was also on Wednesday that I was able to walk them to the cafeteria for lunch for the first time by myself. Well, with the TA, of course. And just kind of like stay with them during the lunch. My coaching teacher, who is really good, she allowed me to like take the lead, and she told me, she was like, this on you. So I just kind of had a quick talk with the kids, like telling them my expectations of walking down the hall, like always walking on the right side of the hall in case someone else is coming. We won't bump into them. Also, like walking down the hall using our quiet voices so that we don't interrupt other instructional time that may be going on in classrooms that we're passing. And for me, I've always been told, other teachers, administration, different things like that, they know what your classroom management is like by the way your kids walk in the hallway. So I had a quick conversation with them, and I was like, listen, when we get to the table in the cafeteria after we eat, we can have a little bit of social time. But as we are walking down the hall, I need quiet voices. I don't need cartwheels behind me. I don't need jumping jacks behind me. I don't need hopscotch going on behind me. Let's just walk down the hall in a quiet line and get to the cafeteria. And for the most part, they did really well. And I'm not saying like, oh, they're kindergarten, they have to like walk like they're in the military or anything like that. But it is a thing where I believe that there's a time and a place for everything. And you never want to interrupt others' learning as we pass different classrooms and different things like that. So they did a really good job with that. Like they were listening to me, different things like that. So that was like Wednesday. Now I will say this. On Thursday we got into the thick of it. But before I get to Thursday, I must tell y'all about what happened on Tuesday. Tuesday was probably the most interesting day, and it was very interesting for me. On Tuesday, we got a surprise. On Tuesday, we got baby chicks in eggs. Well, eggs that will hatch into baby chicks. And they're in an incubator. And so I want to say like 6 hours or something like that. We have to add like water so that they rotate, or they rotate on their own, but I think we have to add water or something to the incubator. It is by far the coolest thing that I have ever seen. I've never experienced this before. I've witnessed the caterpillars that undergo the process of becoming butterflies. That was in my classroom when I was a TA for pre-K a couple of years ago. However, I had never witnessed the eggs that are going to hatch into baby chicks. So I was so excited. I don't know who was more excited. I don't know if it was me or if it was the students, but I was so excited about the eggs. Like, oh, I cannot wait. I think we had them for like 3 weeks in the classroom, and then they're going to hatch. I cannot wait until I went to like February 25th. I can't wait until we get to see them actually hatch. And I'm not an animal person per se. I'm not an animal person. However, I am so excited about the baby chickens or the chicks. I'm so excited about them. And that was like the biggest thing that happened I want to say it was like Tuesday. So all the kids, so what they do, the process is they come with like this box filled with plastic eggs, but the eggs are labeled in stages of what's going on by the day. So I want to say it's like a 3-week process. And so each day we allowed the kids to like pass around the egg. Okay, this is what is happening on day 1. This is what is happening on day 2. This, and so on and so forth. So the kids are really stoked about it. I'm super excited about it, and I can't wait until it happens, and then I'm able to take some pictures and share it with you all. So that is what happened on Tuesday. So on Wednesday afternoon, my coaching teacher came to me. She was like, okay, tomorrow it's on you. ELA reading block is on you. So we took the time and we kind of went over the lesson plan. We pulled the stories that were going to be read, and I was really, really excited about teaching and reading to the students on Thursday. So I won't say it was a complete failure, right? But I will say this. I failed at creating an anchor chart. So in order to create an anchor chart, you got to be able to draw just a little bit. Unless you're going to like be asking kids to like use their imagination, or they're going to be drawing, helping you to create the anchor chart, right? So one of the standards for this week was sequence. So in addition to compared text, we talked about sequential order. So the story that I chose was The Little Red Hen. And of course, you know, the little red hen, she found these seeds and she had to undergo all of these steps to make the bread, right? And so as I was reading the story to the kids, I noticed about halfway through the story, they started to get antsy, right? So I was starting to lose them, and I did not take the cue from them that they were probably getting antsy, and the story probably was too long because they had been sitting for a moment. So one of my biggest takeaways from this week was to take the cues from the kids. They're definitely going to let you know how they're feeling, if they need like a brain break, or if they got some wiggles that they need to get out, different things like that. Look at your students, study your audience, know your audience. And when you see those things happening, you need to start pulling something out of your teacher tool belt to use. Okay, everybody, let's get up and let's stretch right here. Or let's do a head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Something interactive. They may need to get up and walk around, and then we can come back to the story. Or it may be a situation where we may need to pause the story today and just pick it up tomorrow. So I won't say it was a complete failure. the students were able to retain some of the knowledge from the story. And like I said, the story was kind of long. However, I learned a lot during teaching my first lesson with them. And I think they learned some as well. So I would say it was definitely a learning process. And it was definitely like there were some wins. There were some wins for me and some wins for them as well. So that was like I was very nervous like to be teaching the lesson. Just wanted to make sure that I was covering the standards the correct way, that I was breaking the information down in a way they could understand it as well. So one of the things that I love about my coaching teacher is that she didn't stop me like midway during the lesson, like, no, you're doing that wrong. Like, you need to stop. No, she allowed me to get through it the best that I could. And then I want to say, like, when the students were at like related arts during our planning, or maybe it was at the end of the day, she gave me some of the tips that I spoke of just now about taking the cues from the students when they're starting to get antsy on the carpet or starting to wiggle on the carpet. Those are some of the things that she gave me that I will definitely cherish, and I'll probably be using those more in the near future. Just so that I'm more successful with teaching, to make sure that I'm also being a great influence, like to make sure that I'm doing a good job and not just giving the students something that's not translating to them in a way that's going to be beneficial. And then the last thing that we did this week was the science fair project or the science project. I thought it was really cool that the school allowed the younger grades to participate in the science project. A lot of times, they start at like a certain grade level where the students can kind of do it on their own at home or with their parents at home. However, they allowed the kindergartners to participate in the science project, and I thought that was really cool. So on Friday, we had a lot of things going on Friday. Like, we had birthday party, we had wear red for like Heart Awareness Day, and then we had the science experiment. So we started the science experiment on Friday. And one of the things that I liked is that I was able to tie in some of those standards that we covered at the beginning of the week. I was able to tie those into the science experiment as well. So whereas we used the sequential order standard for when we were discussing the little red hen, we were also able to use that standard for when we were doing the science project, because we were talking about what did we do first, what did we do next, what did we do third, and then what did we do last. So it just kind of showed me how the standards can overlap and be intertwined in multiple subjects versus just the subject that is intentionally written for, or initially written for, or intended to be used for. You're able to like intertwine it in other subjects. And I thought that was really cool. So our science fair project is Fizz Fizz Baby. So y'all, the kindergartners are so much fun. They made up an entire song to go with the project and everything. So our hypothesis: which solution will dissolve a bath bomb the fastest? We had hot water, cold water, vinegar, and Sprite soda. So all of the solutions were clear. And then we allowed the students to vote which liquid they thought was going to dissolve the bath bomb the fastest. And we just had like a really, really good time with it. So we started on Friday, but we did not conclude it. However, it was a blast. Like, they really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. We got them involved as much as possible. They were able to like time how long it took for the bath bomb to dissolve. They were able to drop the bath bombs into the solution, except the vinegar. It was really a good time, and I really enjoyed being able to work with them and take pictures of them while they completed the project. So of course I can't give you all the information in just one video, because this is a process, and we're going to allow them to walk with us each step of the way during the process. And I definitely want to take my time explaining it to you all, because kids are so funny, and just some of the things that they were saying as they were making their predictions, it was hilarious. So that's all that I have for this week. But make sure you come back next week because I definitely have to give you the results of the science project. And then I also have to tell you how I didn't know how much fun it was going to be playing Kahoot with kindergartners, but it was a great time. It was hilarious. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for my next video. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey as I complete my student teaching on my road to becoming a certified teacher. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have a great afternoon.